Thank you. Order. Statement. The Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, Secretary Amber Rudd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'd like to make a statement on the poverty statistics published today. These statistics cover a range of poverty indicators. In a year where inflation was relatively high, average incomes were flat, but still remain at a record high. These numbers show that between 2016-17 and 17-18, relative poverty after housing costs has decreased by 1 percentage point. Absolute poverty after housing costs is unchanged in percentage terms, and absolute poverty and relative poverty before housing costs have increased by 1%. Mr. Speaker, since entering government in 2010, income inequality has fallen, and we have lifted a total of 400,000 people out of absolute poverty. But of course, no one in government wants to see poverty rise. After all, Mr. Speaker, we all came into politics to help people plot a path to a better life. This has driven me since I entered this place in 2010 in the midst of a national economic crisis, because I know it is vital that government supports its citizens and provides them with the opportunities they need to succeed. And I sit in a department that has huge power to do this. I have seen what a force for good universal credit can be and will continue to be when we roll it out further. And I know how committed my Jobs Centre colleagues up and down the country are, having had the privilege to visit so many of them over recent months. They truly do change lives for the better, no matter what the party opposite sometimes say. Mr. Speaker, colleagues in this House are rightly proud that this government has cleared up Labour's economic mess and helped over 3.5 million people into work since 2010. Because behind every employment statistic is a personal family whose mental health, well-being and life chances are improved by being in the workplace and having the security of a regular pay packet. It means that 665,000 fewer children will grow up in workless households, providing them with the support of an income, meaning they are less likely to grow up in poverty, and giving them a role model in work. It means that there are now approaching 1 million more disabled people in work than in 2013, and I want to be more ambitious to ensure even more disabled people are in work. And it means that millions more receive a much-earned pay increase, with wages now growing at the fastest rate in a decade. This is the record of a Conservative government that provides opportunities for all rather than trapping people on welfare. Because, remember, every Labour government left office with unemployment higher than it inherited. Under the last Labour government, 1.4 million spent most of the previous decade trapped on out-of-work benefits, meaning that spending spiralled out of control, with benefits increasing by 65% in real terms. Mr. Speaker, trapping people on benefits who can work does not help them, it holds them back. Every household paid an extra £3,000 a year to cover this splurge, and this included the lowest earners who were paying income tax. It was vital in these circumstances that the government brought spending under control. Mr. Speaker, colleagues know that our careful management of the economy means that we continue to improve our support for the poorest and the lowest paid. Today's statistics capture household incomes up to April 2018. Since then, we have had nearly a year of real wage growth. And this government has made significant changes to increase the incomes of the poorest since then, injecting an extra £1.7 billion per annum into universal credit in the 2018 budget alone. Next month, these changes take effect. We will also give the country's lowest earners a pay rise, introducing the highest ever minimum wage. From April, we will be increasing work allowances by £1,000 for families with children and disabled people, enabling 2.4 million households to keep more of what they earn. Increasing the national living wage, which will rise to £8.21 an hour from next week, and increasing the personal allowance to £12,500, taking more of the lowest paid out of income tax altogether. But I know we can do more, and I want to do that. Since coming into the post, I have been determined to deliver a compassionate welfare system that supports the most vulnerable. In January, I announced that we will no longer be extending the two-child policy to apply to children born before 2017. We would trail supporting upfront childcare costs with the Flexible Support Fund, allowing parents to start work before paying childcare through universal credit. We committed to building an online system to provide private landlords to request that a universal credit's tenant's rent is paid directly to them, supporting the most vulnerable to help them manage their money. And we're looking at how we can ensure it's the main carer in a household, usually a woman, who receives the UC payment. And this month, I further pledge to scrap PIP reassessments for 287,000 disabled pensioners, to introduce a personalised and streamlined assessment service to improve the experience of people claiming health-related benefits, to pilot a single assessment for UC and PIP, and consider how we can best reduce the number of claimants who appeal decisions on PIP and WCA by ensuring we do more to make the right decision first time round. In addition, the Chancellor has already announced our aspiration to end low pay, starting with a new review into the future of the national living wage. Mr Speaker, I will continue to work with colleagues across the House to further improve our support for those on the lowest incomes, because I know that no one in Britain should have their future determined by the circumstances that they are born into. Every single boy and girl born into this country should be able to reach their maximum potential, escape any societal constraints, dream big and reach the highest heights. Every single man and woman should be able to go into the workplace knowing that their better future awaits them and their family, that endless possibilities and ambitions are within their grasp. Every town and city in this country needs to know that this government is on their side, that we match their aspirations, and that by working together we will make every community a better one to live in. These are ideals that are at the heart of this government, at the heart of the work that I do every day, and we will not stop until we have completed this mission. I am determined to tackle poverty, in particular child poverty. And as I look at the next steps on welfare policy and at the DWP budget, including at the spending review, I will of course look at what more can be done to address poverty. Mr Speaker, this is what it means to be a compassionate government, one that supports work, lets dreams become reality and helps those in need. We will work tirelessly to deliver that. I commend this statement to the House.
Margaret Greenwood.